Hello, my name is HAPruitt and I'm the author of the Anelthalien series. And in this video, I'm going to do a couple things: an author update, a mini review, and some publishing tips. And I've been doing my author update on the first week of each month, but I'm doing it a little early because I want to get back to doing book reviews in December. So I'm going to do book reviews in December. But my author update, I have one big author update for the month of November. I published my third book. So this is the first book in the Anelthalien series, Anelthalien. This is the second book in the Anelthalien series, Earthquaking. And this is the third book in the Anelthalien series, Waterfalling. This is the paperback. And I don't have my copy of the hardback yet because they take a little longer to get here. But this is the hardback. Sorry, the hardback. This is my copy of the paperback. This is my copy of the hardback. The hardback is a matte cover, so it takes better pictures. And you can get those on Amazon along with the ebook, and the ebook has the color illustrations. You can also go to my website, www.hapruitt.com/waterfalling, to see the color illustrations that you don't get to see in the book because they are black and white in the book. But, yeah, that's my author update. I published my third book. The third book in the series is out, and I love it so much. This is my favorite that's published so far, because you just go read it and see why I love it so much. So, you can get that. And also an update until the end of November, or until the books run out. I'm doing a sale just on the first two books, Anelthalien and Earthquaking. So if you're interested in the sale, these two are originally $17.99 paperbacks, but I'm doing a sale for $13.50 each, and they're signed. And you get artwork with each one you order, and you get a bookmark. Just one if you order, because it's the same bookmark, so I'm not just going to be obnoxious and give you two of the same. But yeah, so that I'm having a little sale. So if you're interested about the sale, please leave a comment and let me know, and we'll get everything sorted out through email. Yeah, so that's my exciting updates. Yay, I'm so happy about all that. So next, my mini review. I've already done a review of this book, and so I will link the review in the description below of my original review, but I reviewed the book Penelope Grace and the Winter Carousel by Alexandria Miracola whenever it was a manuscript copy. And I bought the beautiful manuscript copy, and it's so pretty. And I reviewed it when I read it in that form, whenever I read the beautiful manuscript copy. And so the book has not changed, it has just changed format. It is now available on her Etsy shop, and I'll link that description below too. And my book is right over there, but I don't want to get up and get it, so I will put the picture of it up beside me of the book as I tell you my mini review of it. Penelope Grace and the Winter Carousel is a charming, beautiful, deep, wonderful, it just hits all the notes of a good book, and it's fantasy, portal fantasy, even better. And this time reading through, the things I noticed was it was a great family read aloud. My husband read it out loud to me and my baby whenever we were getting ready for bed. And it was really nice. Like, there was nothing in there you had to worry about, but also each one of us could take something out of it. Eldon, it was nice, it was calming, it was a pretty story to read. I took out the message of the theme of being enough and not being enough, and that kind of message. And my husband, I had not picked up on this the first read through, but he really, the message of grief really resonated with him, and everything wrapped up in grief. He really connected with the father character in the book because he had gone through something similar. And I won't say any more so I don't ruin it for you. But yeah, so there's a lot of different messages for a lot of different people. So I think whoever you are, you could really benefit and enjoy the story. Benefit from and enjoy the story. Also, I wrote down, it handles serious topics powerfully, like grief and like not being enough and strength and all kinds of topics. It just hits so many different places and so many important topics, but it never gets so heavy that you're like, oh, I don't want to keep reading. It always moves you forward, and you think there's going to be hope soon. There's going to be hope soon. I just love it about that. And I love the characters. I think I loved the characters first time through, and this time again, I just love the characters even more, especially Tilly. I really love the little Arctic fox named Tilly, how spunky she is. Yeah, Alexandria writes really nice characters that you really relate to and you really love. So that's my mini review. Go watch the full review. I drew on my face with glitter glue for the full review, so that's fun. So go watch that and pick up the book on her Etsy shop. Again, those links for the review I did and the link to her Etsy shop are down below in the description. So my third thing I want to do, and I shouldn't say thing because that's a tip. Don't put thing in your book. And the third thing I want to do in this video, I'm talking, it doesn't matter when I'm talking. The third thing I want to do in this video is give you some publishing tips. And I'm going to give you publishing tips that either I remembered or I learned this time publishing, because every time you publish, you learn something new. Or you remember something and you're like, oh yeah, that was bad. So my first publishing tip is to carefully proofread your back cover and other parts of your book that you tend to skim. Okay, so you know the blurb on the back? This blurb on the back, you wrote it, you rewrote it, and you rewrote it, and you probably rewrote it more times than you rewrote what's inside the pages, because like a lot of authors say how terrible it is to write blurbs. It's just hard and it's difficult, and so you've read this and rewritten it and know what it says, and you know what it says, and you're like, okay, it's there, and it looks okay, and it's formatted right, and you just move on with your life. And you sometimes, when you look at something so many times and you think you know what it says, you don't really pay attention to what it actually says. So I'm going to show you my mistakes. On the first book, I wanted, if you ever wanted something different, Anelthalien is waiting. And so I read, if you ever wanted something different, Anelthalien is waiting. And so I was like, okay, that's good. And then when I got the book, it says, if you ever wanted to find something different, Anelthalien is waiting. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but to me, it's a huge deal. That's my hook line. That's my thing. That's my slogan. If you ever wanted to find something different. No, it's if you ever wanted something different. And so that really bummed me out. And I'm like, no, next time on book 2, I'm gonna make sure that I read and make sure I have what I want. So if you ever knew something wasn't quite right, Anelthalien is waiting. So I'm like, okay, I know this. My blurb is good. And then I look through and this word escape is spelled E-S-C-A-P-C-E. That's not how you spell escape. And so I failed on my back cover again because I thought I knew what it said. And when I was reading through, I just read escape and I didn't really look at the letters. And so my third book, I was determined I was going to get this right this time. And so I was going to get it right. And on my proof copy this time, I caught HAPruitt is the author or Anelthalien instead of. And so I fixed that. And I read through it, like literally I was sitting at the kitchen table and I was like, Kindle to add and Drew. And I was reading it like that to make sure I had spelled every single word correctly. And then I read through it fast. And my husband is like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to make sure this back cover is right. Because that's one of the things on your books, you know it's there and you think you know it's right and you just skim through it and you want to be done with it and you're like, okay, it's good. And then when you get the actual copy, it's not good. So my first publishing tip, that whole big long example, was to just show you that you think you know what it says, but you might not. And I have seen mistakes on back covers more than anything else. I just read a traditionally published book with like a publisher who wasn't just the author, and it had a big mistake on the back. And I was like, it happens to other people. And I think there was another one, and I can't remember the other example, but I saw it. Oh yeah, I can remember. They had a word that had an extra letter in it and made it a totally different word. And I was like, other people do this too. So read your back cover. You may think you know what it says, but read it and read it and read it carefully and make sure you spell everything right and just, yeah, make sure, because it's going to bother you. That escape spelled with an extra C is going to bother me my whole life. And there's no going back. There's no fixing it unless I republish the whole book. So make sure everything is right. And just with make sure everything's spelled on your title pages, your copyright pages, the pages you think nobody will read and you know what they say and whatever. No, make sure you know that they are spelled right and everything's okay on those. Okay, so second publishing tip. make the ebook last. For my third book, I don't know why. I really don't know why. Because I had my list of things I had to do, and make the ebook was one of them. And so, like, I was on one of my rounds of editing, and I was like, okay, I gotta make the ebook. I gotta make the ebook now. And so I made the ebook, and then I get my proof copies, and I read through the book 2 more times, and of course there are mistakes I have to fix. And then I'm like, why did I make the ebook? Because an ebook has different page numbers than the paper book. When you upload a manuscript to KDP for the paperback or the hardback, it is a PDF of your Word document. That's the easiest way to do it, the best way to do it that I have found. But if you upload that to KDP, a Word document doesn't work. You have to get like a Kindle file. And I have the free program Kindle Create, and the page numbers aren't the same as in the Word document. And so if you're like, oh, I have a mistake on page 210 on paragraph 3, you're not going to be able to find it in the ebook. It's going to be really, really hard to find it. You might be able to. So if you have a bunch of mistakes, you have to just do it all over anyway. So do the ebook last. I hope all of that made sense to say that if you don't do it last and you find more mistakes, you're either going to have to hunt and spend a lot of extra time and a lot of extra work trying to find those mistakes that are so hard to find in a book format that is different than your Word document that you're used to looking at. Or you're just going to have to do the whole thing over. And I had to do the whole thing over. And it wasn't bad, but it was just obnoxious that I had spent all that time making it the first time and then had to delete that and redo it. And I have pictures in mine, and Kindle Create is not nice with formatting or pictures or anything, and so I had to, switch out every single picture, 19 plus a few other pictures. It's just obnoxious. Do the ebook last. Do yourself a favor and do the ebook last. Okay, so tip 3 for publishing. Try not to use a template. Templates are great. Templates are wonderful. Templates help you. And I used a template for earthquaking. And then I didn't use a template for earthquaking. So with templates, you may get a good template and it may be good through the whole thing. Or you may get a bad template. I downloaded one from KDP and most of the way through it was fine. And then I noticed something's different. Something's wrong. The pages were a different size for half the book. And it was just messed up in a bunch of small ways that I had to go through and figure out. And I wasn't really sure why it happened. And so I got it all fixed and everything. And so I used my second book document, my earthquaking Word document. I used that to make a template, my own template, not downloaded from somebody else, my own template for water falling. And I still ran into things that when you transfer over a template, there's just some things in it that are just a little bit wonky. Like at the end of 2 section breaks, so at the end of 2 chapters, my page numbers, just on that last page of the section, because it made it another section, just the last page of a section, it made it another section. And so the next chapter was another section. It was weird. I hope that makes sense enough to tell you that it doesn't make sense. The page number was at a different place than all the other pages in the book. And I couldn't figure out why it did that. And so if you have a template, sometimes it can get weird on you and you're not really sure why, because there's things in there that whoever made it told it, this is what goes in here. And if you want to do something a little different, it might or might not cooperate with you or understand what you're trying to do. It might mess things up if you try to make the template different if you downloaded a template. But if you use a template and figure out what all the measurements are and then make your own document, then you can kind of have a little bit more control. So try not to use a template if you can make all the measurements and everything yourself, or if you're using a formatter. But if you do use a template, just go through and double check every little thing. Like I said, the last page on each section was messed up in mine. Or some sections, the spacing was thrown off for no discernible reason. Just make sure that you check everything if you do use a template, because things might get thrown off a little bit. Okay, so number 4. Tip number 4 is page numbers. Page numbers as a whole. The trouble of page numbers as a whole is it's just difficult. Page numbers are difficult sometimes. So what you do is you can't just... Okay, so on Word document, you can tell it to insert page number, and it will insert a page number. And then you format your page number, and that's what you need to do. You say insert page number and then format it. If you go to where it says format page number and you tell it to start on certain page and have Roman numerals, it's not going to do anything because you haven't inserted a page number first. That's a little confusing. I want to make a video about how to do this. It's going to be a short little video, but yeah, I've had so much trouble with page numbers that I've learned how to do page numbers. And also, never fails, my first few pages, like in your front matter, I hope you can see this, title page, your like official title page, your copyright page, your table of contents, you have like the V and the VI for 5 and 6, you know. I had mine switched backwards. I had 6 and then 5. I don't know. It happens. So just make sure that when you're doing your page numbers, you have them all right. And I don't put page numbers on the first page of my chapters, but I have them everywhere else. And also I found out that if you do every other page different, you have to make sure you insert page number on the odd pages and insert page number on the even pages, and then format them after that from there. And so it is complicated, but like I said, I've been through the ringer with the page numbers, and so I kind of figured out how to do it. So I want to make a video about that, so put it in the comments if you want me to do that too. Because it's not that hard once you figure it out, but it's hard to figure it out because computers don't talk and tell you, you're doing this wrong, you imbecile. Yeah. Okay, so that's tip number 4, page numbers. Just, you gotta figure them out. Give yourself time to figure them out. And my 5th publishing tip is to publish a few days early. With this precious book, I published on the morning. I hit the publish button on Amazon on the morning of release day. And I thought that would be fine because I had never done, on this first book, I had a publishing company I was working with. That's a whole nother story. If you want to know that story, I may have a video. I don't remember if I have a video. But I was with a publishing company, so they did everything. So I didn't know yet. I didn't know how to publish myself. But this book, I learned everything about publishing myself. All the horrible things about publishing myself. And I learned that KDP says, we'll send you an email when your book has gone through the review, and then up to 72 hours later, it should be available. And I'm like, what? Wait. I clicked the publish button, and I want to publish now. And I just freaked out. I totally freaked out. And it took a while. It took a few days for my paperback book to show up. And I was a mess. And I was awful. And nobody else cared but me. But it stresses you out too much. So don't do that. With Water Falling, I told everyone the release day was November 15th. And I told myself, have that book published by November 3rd. Just because that was enough time where I wouldn't be crazy. And I didn't make the November 3rd, but I did make November 10th. And that was ample time for me to be like, okay, the book is up, it's ready, I just don't have to tell anybody until the 15th, and a couple people figured it out. But that's fine, who cares? It's up and ready to go. Yeah, so publish a few days early, because you really want to give yourself time in case something happens, in case your review doesn't come through right, in case the book takes more than 72 hours to publish like Earthquaking did. You don't want to be freaking out. You want to be like, I'm ready for my release date. Oh yeah, everything's fine. And that's what I did with this book. I was ready, everything was good, everything was set. I was totally prepared to just tell people, go buy it. It's there. It's there, it's there. This one, I was like, it's not there. Don't kill me for lying to you. Publish a few days early and save yourself a lot of stress. So those are my publishing tips. Again, carefully proofread your back cover. 2, make the ebook last. Just do that. Make your ebook last. 3, try not to use a template, but if you do, make sure every aspect of formatting is correct and consistent. 4, page numbers. Just make sure your page numbers are right. And 5, publish a few days early and give yourself happiness and joy. So that is my author update. That is my mini book review, and those are my publishing tips. If you want to tell me your author updates, what you did in November, if you're excited for me to get back to the book reviews in December, tell me that. If you have read Penelope Grace, or if you want to, you can talk about that. Or if you have any publishing tips that you have found out through publishing, just share, comment, like, subscribe. There's other things to do with this video. Just interact with my video. I can't remember. And thank you very much for watching. Bye!
If you want to know more about Anelthalien or HAPruitt, please follow me on Instagram at HAPruitt. You can find me on Amazon as an Amazon author, HAPruitt. Please watch my YouTube channel and all my cool videos on my channel, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can find me on the Facebook page, HAPruitt Anelthalien. You can follow me on Goodreads by the name HAPruitt and the book Anelthalien, or you can go to my website where so much cool stuff about Anelthalien is. The website is HAPruitt.com.
We are the pirates who don't do anything. We just stay home and lie around. And if you ask us to do anything, we'll just tell you we don't do anything. Oh, I've never been to Boston, and I've never been to Moscow, and I've never had leggings and a big red rubber ball, and I've never thrown my mashed potatoes up against the wall. Okay, I'm done. I'm so done. I need to stop. Cow. The cow says moo.